Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming MCS exams happening in February 2025. My name is Nick and I'm one of the tutors for MCS at TCS. So let's look at the session plan. I'm not going to take a lot of your time because I know for a fact that you are involved with last minute preparation. So I'm simply going to share some tips with you to make sure that you walk into your exam with a high level of positivity, believing in your skill set. If so, you'd be successful at your real examination. And I will also conduct a Q&A. You might have last minute questions, so you can get all of these questions addressed during the Q&A session. So let's try to figure out what you need to achieve to maintain a high level of confidence both before the exam and at your examination. So before the exam, it's best that you rest your mind and body. That's exactly why I suggested that you have to stop preparations a day or two before your examination. Ideally, if you can stop preparations 2 days before the exam, you will achieve the required level of composure, as well as when you had rested your mind and body. It will be extremely beneficial for you at your real examination. You might think that I'm stupid to ask you guys to start relaxing or stop all work a day or two before the exam. As you know, this is a highly practical examination. Although you have learnt your theoretical elements, it's everything down to application. So, because of that, when developing answers at your examination, you need to consider the information presented in each and every scenario, and with the intention of developing answers which are totally aligned with each scenario, which is aligned with each requirement. It's best that you start relaxing right now because you need to achieve a high level of open mindedness. If not, you will always keep thinking about the mock exams which you have attempted, and at the exam you will try to replicate the answers which you saw in the suggested answers or the answer plans when going through the mock exams, rather than considering the information presented at the examination. So we have made sure to cover all syllabus areas across the 6 mock exams. So if you had gone through these 6 mock exams, if you have watched the master classes and redeveloped answer plans, you have done your job successfully. However, before walking into the exam, you need to clear your mind, because you need to, when developing answers, you have to always make sure that you consider the exact information which is presented in each scenario, rather than trying to memorize how to develop answers, or rather than trying to remember what appeared within each and every mock exam which you attempted. So, with the intention of creating a high level of open mindedness, you need to start resting your mind and body, 1 or 2 days before your exam. And before the exam, do not refer to any study material, mock exams, or answer plans. So I highlighted the fact that there's absolutely no point of going through mock exams, suggested answers, the answer plans, or any type of study material closer to the exam, because when you try to do so, you'd be exposed to stressful situations, because irrespective of how prepared you are, I can remember me as a student. I went through the same process. Irrespective of how prepared I was, I always doubted myself. I always thought, okay, I have not done enough. So that's quite normal for you to feel this way. So if you had done your homework, don't worry. Stick to the process, because as per the study plans which we shared with you, as per the initial 8 week study plan, you are supposed to start relaxing within this week, the 3 or 4 during the 3 or 4 days leading up to your examination. And we also shared a 3 week study plan, and in it, I also highlighted the fact that you need to start relaxing 1 or 2 days before the exam. Why am I asking you to do this? Because you have done your job. There's absolutely no point of stressing yourself, because if you are stressed before the exam, it will impact your performance at your real examination. Because as I've mentioned throughout this webinar and workshop series, the CIMA exam is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So it's as if you are walking into office and checking your email, and based on what appears within each email, you are trying to develop your responses. So you can't successfully do this if you were exposed to extreme levels of stress, or if you were not sleeping properly, if you're not eating properly before, or 2 or 3 days before walking into office. So let's assume you are walking into office on a Monday. So if you were up till late during the weekend, or if you didn't have your meals on time, if you didn't sleep properly, or if you were exposed to extreme levels of stress towards the weekend, can you function properly on a Monday? You can't. So you need to bear this in mind. You need to understand the fact that in order to be successful at your exam, you need to start relaxing. If not, if you are exposed to extreme levels of stress at your real examination, you will definitely be stressed. And at your real examination, you will always keep thinking about, what you couldn't do when conducting preparations, which is totally unnecessary, because you have to live in the present at your exam. You have to let go of what you couldn't do in the past. You should not think about the future. Instead, you need to solely focus your attention towards what you need to get right at your examination. So in order to live in the present, and in order to be successful at your exam, in order to successfully manage stressful situations, it's best that you stop all your work a day or two before the exam. So don't refer to any study material, mocks, or answer plans. If you want, you can go through the answer plans which we have developed for you. Other than that, I don't want you to do anything else. I want you to start relaxing, because if so, you will function properly at your real examination. And it's best in the upcoming days to start thinking like the finance manager of Shinyglas. Always think, okay, I am actually the finance manager of Shinyglas. If so, if you think in these terms at your examination as well, you will develop answers which are totally aligned with each requirement, which is totally aligned with the information presented in each scenario or in each unseen. So it makes sense for you to think that you are actually playing the role of a finance manager, because um, just think that you are actually working for this company in the capacity of an FM. If so, just like what you do in a real life corporate setting, you will only consider the information presented in each scenario when developing responses. And when developing responses, you'd always try to figure out whether you have addressed the requirements in a successful manner. And also, it's quite normal for you to feel negative in the upcoming days. And you have to, if you're feeling negative, you have to take steps to let go of this type of negativity, because it's not too good to be negative, leading up to the exam. If so, if you're, feeling down, or if you're feeling negative, if you're doubting your skill set, it will reflect on. So these type of negativities will reflect on the quality of your answer at your real exam. So it's best whenever you feel negative. It's quite normal, as I mentioned earlier. Irrespective of whether you have conducted your preparations or not, since you are going to face a stressful examination, which is not easy. It's not easy to pass this exam. You know it, and everybody who's sitting for the MCS exam knows it. So there's absolutely no point of thinking of whether you are going to pass this examination or not. Instead, always, whenever you feel negative, always remind yourself that you have done your homework. You can only tell yourself this if you had conducted your preparation successfully. And on top of that, whenever you feel negative, you have to always tell yourself or remind yourself that you just need 80 marks to pass. You need not get full marks. You need not get 150 out of 150 to pass this examination. Instead, you just need 80 marks. So as a percentage, it's 54%. So if you screw up half of your paper, still you can pass this exam. So believe in yourself. Whenever you feel negative, always remind yourself that you just need 54% to pass the exam. So even if you screw up half your paper, you still can pass this exam. If you are confident, if you start relaxing, and if you take steps to avoid unnecessary stressful situations before the exam, and if you're capable to manage your stress levels at your examination, you can easily pass this exam. And it's best that you're open-minded. I highlighted this fact earlier as well, because if you're open-minded, You won't try to memorize what appeared within the mock exams. You won't try to memorize what appeared within the answer plans or suggested answers. Instead, you will try to develop answers considering solely considering the information presented at the scenario in each scenario, and you will also make sure to develop answers which are totally aligned with each requirement. So it's crucial that you achieve a high level of open-mindedness. So in order to achieve this type of open-mindedness, you have to start resting your mind and body right now. And during the exam, what are you expected to do to manage your stress levels? Simply stick to the exam technique routine, because as per what I've highlighted in the third webinar and via the workshops, what we have highlighted, you are supposed to stick to a three-step process when attempting each section. So the time allocation concerning each section is 45 minutes. So we highlighted the methodology which you need to adhere to when it comes to managing these 45 minutes on a section by section basis. So as per what I highlighted in the third webinar, you are supposed to allocate 5 minutes of your time to read through the scenario. 20 minutes of your time should be allocated towards answer planning, and the remaining 25 minutes should be allocated towards expanding your answer plan, thereby typing your answers in paragraph form. So when doing this, we have developed this system uh, thinking about how a human brain functions. So as I highlighted in the fourth webinar, I explained how the human brain functions. I said that if you are to come up with rational answers or highly successful answers, you need to think through your prefrontal cortex or the front part of your brain. So if you are using your prefrontal cortex, then you will come up with well-structured, high-quality answers. However, the problem is when you are operating in a time-pressured environment, there's a tendency for the prefrontal cortex to switch off after 30 to 45 minutes. So you can focus, or you can keep using your prefrontal cortex for something like 30 to 45 minutes when operating in a time-pressured environment. However, beyond that point, the brain will ask you to take a break. So this is when you will be exposed to a stressful situation. I explained all these things in depth in the fourth webinar as well, if you can remember. So we have developed a study system, or not a study system, rather we have developed an answering system or an answering technique in which you are supposed to utilize your prefrontal cortex for the first 25 minutes of your examination on a section by section basis. So when it comes to reading through each scenario, you have to utilize your prefrontal cortex. You have to really focus. And when it comes to developing the answer plan, again, you have to utilize your prefrontal cortex. So you have to be extremely focused. But once you have a plan at your disposal, you can take a step back and simply focus your attention towards typing the answer. So when you have already developed the answer plan, you have already planned out what you need to include within the answer. So when it comes to typing, there's no thinking involved. It's simply a matter of expanding the answer plan. So if you stick to this answering technique, it's as if you are utilizing your prefrontal cortex in the first 25 minutes. You are really focused in the first 25 minutes of each section. However, towards the last 20 minutes or last 25 minutes of each section, you are taking a break. So stick to this process. By sticking to this process, you can overcome stressful situations. You can effectively take steps to manage stressful situations at your real exam. So you'll be really focused in the first 25 minutes. Then in the remaining 20 to 25 minutes, it's as if you are taking a break. So if you stick to this process, towards the end of each section, towards the last 20 to 25 minutes of each section, you are taking a break. This will be extremely beneficial for you when it comes to managing your stress levels, rather than trying to force your brain to keep using the prefrontal cortex 3 hours at a stretch. You can't do it when you're operating in a time pressured environment. So the best way is to really focus your attention towards getting things right in the first 25 minutes. Then in the remaining 20 to 25 minutes, you can simply start relaxing at the end of each section. And even if you stick to this answering technique, you might feel stressed. So whenever you feel stressed, take steps to switch off your amygdala. So I explained that there's a small part of our brain. I explained this in the fourth webinar, that there is a small part of our brain which is known as the amygdala, which whenever we are stressed, the amygdala comes into play. And when the amygdala is active, you will be exposed to a fight or flight response. So the brain is asking you to get out of a stressful situation, which is known as a flight response, or the brain is asking you to fight a stressful situation, which is known as a fight response. So at your exam, you can't move away from the stressful situation, from a stressful situation. You can't, stand up and finish your exam halfway through and walk out. Instead, you have to take steps to fight a stressful situation. So the only way to fight a stressful situation is to take steps to switch off your amygdala and make sure that you shift your brain functions from your amygdala to the prefrontal cortex. So with this in mind, drink some water. It will help calm your nerves. And when you are intaking water, you are taking in some oxygen, additional oxygen, which is going to be extremely beneficial for you. When your blood vessels are pumped with additional oxygen, this oxygen will be pumped into your brain ultimately, and this will calm down brain functions, which is going to be extremely beneficial for you. So drink some water. However, if you are attempting the exam at home, or in certain examination centers, you can't take a water bottle. If so, you can't practice this step. However, even if you can't take a water bottle, don't worry, you can still take steps to switch off your amygdala and get out of a stressful situation. And as I mentioned in the fourth webinar, the only way to switch off your amygdala is to close your eyes and breathe slowly for 2 minutes. When breathing, inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And when inhaling, count to 3 slowly. And when exhaling, count to 3 slowly. This is the only way to switch off your amygdala. And if you are capable of switching off your amygdala, your prefrontal cortex will come into play once more. If so, you can easily and effectively overcome a stressful situation. And most students who end up getting good marks at the MCS exam, stick to this best practice, which is to take a 2-minute break between sections. So after the first, let's assume you are done with the first section. So after the first 45 minutes are done, you will be directed to section number 2 automatically. And when you are in section number 2, you will see the timer running out, starting from 45 minutes. Although the timer is running, close your eyes and focus on your breathing for 2 minutes. Which the intent you are supposed to, you might think that you are wasting your time. However, you are supposed to do this with the intention of making sure that you are giving a break to your brain. So the brain, when you're taking steps to relax your brain at the beginning of each section, it will be extremely beneficial for you, rather than being exposed to extremely stressful exposed to an extremely stressful environment across 3 hours. So stick to our answering technique. If you do so, towards the last 20 minutes, you are resting your brain. And at the same time, if you are encountering a stressful situation, focus on your breathing and get out of it. Also, it's best practice to take a 2-minute break before starting each section. So before reading through, let's assume you are in section number 2, before reading through the information presented in each scenario, close your eyes, breathe for 2 minutes, do this breathing exercise, and make sure that you have rested your brain for 2 minutes, and then start reading through the scenario and developing your answer plan. And always, whenever you feel stressed, as I mentioned earlier, always remind yourself that you have done your homework. You can only do this if you're actually done your homework. Even if you have not conducted preparations fully, still remind yourself that you need just 80 marks to pass. So you need not get all your answers accurate. There will be subtasks which you are clueless about, or where you'd struggle with your answer. That's quite normal. That's quite all right. So focus on the subtasks which you have encountered when attempting mock exams. And even if you see one or two subtasks in which you don't know the type of answers you are supposed to develop, don't worry. Keep fighting. Keep moving forward. Take steps to manage your stress levels, because if you manage your stress levels at your exam, you are halfway through your uh, task. Okay, so you need not get everything right. So always remind yourself that you just need 80 marks to pass, or 54% to pass this examination. And always make sure to give your best shot towards sections 3 and 4. You will experience fatigue. That's quite normal, because as I mentioned earlier, you are operating in a time pressured environment. When this is the case, your brain will ask you to take a break. At office, you can do this. You can walk out of your cubicle. You can have a chat with your colleagues, have a cup of coffee or tea, or you can smoke if you're into smoking. But you can't do all these things at your examination. You have to sit in one place and be exposed to extreme levels of stress across 3 hours. So even when you are feeling fatigue, even when you are feeling stress, keep fighting. Because if you do, if you make up your mind not to give up at the exam, chances of you passing increases extensively. So keep moving forward. Give your best shot. In order to give your best shot, you need to make sure that you always think that you are actually the finance manager of Shinyglas. And on top of that, in order to function properly, in order to function successfully as the finance manager of Shinyglas, you have to start relaxing 1 or 2 days before your exam. So all these things which I highlighted a while back are interlinked. So if you start relaxing a day or two before your exam, you are well poised to do your job as the finance manager of Shinyglas. And if you think that you are the finance manager of Shinyglas, you will always make sure to give your best shot. And if you are to give your best shot, you need to manage your stress levels before the exam and during the exam. And during the exam, with the intention of managing your stress levels, stick to the exam technique routine. And before starting each section, focus on your breathing and take steps to refresh your brain. And whenever you feel stressed, always understand that it's your amygdala which is the culprit, and take steps to switch off your amygdala. If you do all these things, then you will be extremely successful at your exam. And don't worry, you will start doubting before the exam, both before the exam and at your real examination. Even those who achieve more than 100 marks after attempting the exam, when they call us or when they message us, what they say is, I screwed up my MCS exam. I think I will have to resit once more. And they start going through the mock exams once more. They start referring to the revision cards once more, to later find out when the results are out that they have scored more than 100. So even if you do a great job at your exam, you will still doubt yourself, simply because of the fact that you are operating in a time pressured and a stressful situation. So when you are exposed to a stressful situation, or when you are operating in a stressful environment, you won't think straight. You will always doubt yourself. So that's exactly why you are doubting yourself right now. So let go of all this negativity. You have done your job. Start relaxing. Think like the finance manager of this company and give your best shot at your examination. Take steps to manage your stress levels. And always, whenever you feel negative, both before the exam and during the exam, always remind yourself that you just need 54% to pass this exam. So even if you go wrong in half of your subtasks, still you can easily pass this exam. So be confident, because if you are confident, as per the examiner's report, confident students end up passing this exam, because your confidence levels will impact the quality of your answers. If you keep doubting yourself, you will come up with half-hearted answers at your exam. On the other hand, if you keep believing in yourself, if you believe that you have improved your skill set, if you are positive about your capabilities, then definitely you will view each question in a positive angle. If so, you will come up with some high quality answers. So if I talk about myself, I came through the general route. Those days when I was doing my exams, we had 16 different examinations under the CIMA syllabus. So when I was in the operational level, I always doubted myself. Even if I was fully prepared, I always doubted whether I've done enough. So this doubt led to issues when I was attempting the real exam. But from the management level onwards, I changed my mindset. I changed the way in which I, looked at each examination, because the preparations were quite the same. The way in which I prepared for the operational level, as well as the management, strategic, and top CIMA levels were quite the same. The only difference I made was to change my mindset. So I never doubted myself when conducting preparations and at the exam. And I always reminded myself, okay, I just need 50% to pass. So even if I screw up half the paper, I still can pass. And on top of that, I made sure to manage my stress levels at the exam by sticking to an exam technique routine and focusing on my breathing to switch off my amygdala. So from the management level onwards, I got extremely good marks. I'm not a good student. I can't remember things. I can't remember theories. I was struggling with application when I was a student, but from the management level onwards, I got extremely good marks. Why? Because I changed my mindset. So believe in yourself. You have done enough. You can pass this exam. You just need 54% to pass. So, don't be unduly stressed in the upcoming days. Simply, if you want, you can conduct your revision, you can refer to your answer plans. Other than that, don't try to attempt mock exams. Don't try to go through your past exam notes. Don't try to go through past exam variants or study texts and whatnot. Don't try to memorize theories or learn theories. Take a step back, start relaxing. You will definitely succeed if you believe in yourself and if you're positive about your skill set. All right, so that's exactly what this student achieved last time. This student achieved 93 marks, although this individual started preparations just 2 weeks before the exam. So I know for a fact that most of you started your preparations way before that. Still, you might be doubting yourself. Don't doubt yourself. If this student who started just 2 weeks before the exam ended up passing the exam by scoring 93 marks, then you can do that as well. So this student was quite confident, although she started preparations 2 weeks before the exam. When she was walking into the exam, she was quite confident about what she had done. And although this is the case after the examination, when she called us, what she said was, she said that she struggled with certain subtasks, and she said that I might have to resit the examination again in February 2025. But later she found out that she had actually scored 93 marks. So you can achieve a similar feat if you believe in yourself. So stop doubting, start believing, and always remind yourself that you just need 80 to pass. Okay, so having said that, I'm moving on to the Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can raise them now. I'm going to pause the recording. All right, folks. So thank you very much for those questions. I hope I addressed everything. And if you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com, or email us on info@study@tcs.com, or WhatsApp us on this number. And I urge you guys to follow our YouTube handle, on which you'd access the recorded versions of the weekly webinars and workshops which we have conducted, focused on MCS exams happening in February 2025. Also, if you are yet to subscribe to our TikTok handle, please do so, because via this TikTok handle you will gain access to a set of videos, which is a good mind map of the entire pre-scene. So in these last days, keep watching these TikTok videos over and over to constantly keep yourself reminded about what appears within your pre-scene document. So having said that, it brings us to the end of the webinar and workshop series, which we have conducted focused on MCS exams happening in February 2025. So we have conducted 8 sessions spread across 8 weeks. I hope you gain something out of these sessions which we have conducted, and I wish you all the very best. Don't doubt yourself. As I mentioned previously, be positive. in these last days, because if you are positive, you will do your job properly at your real examination. So start relaxing right now. If so, you are well poised to function as the finance manager of Shinyglas. And at your exam, stick to our answering technique and manage your stress levels. And at the same time, focus on your breathing and get out of stressful situations. And always, whenever you feel negative, both before and during the exam, always remind yourself that you just need 80 marks to pass. So even if you're clueless about how to answer half of your paper, you will still pass this examination. So believe in yourself, be confident, be positive. If so, you will pass this exam for sure. So we do believe in you. So I hope you'd start believing in yourself as well. So we wish you the best of luck and hope to see you guys at the SES level um, in the upcoming examination session. So thank you for joining. Take care and all the best.